We are back, the Eric and Tony Show, with the great Jon Huck, comedian.
I was going to say the great Jon Huck, too, if I was getting direct. What am I to say? Like, the great Jon Huck.
Great is a little...
Illinois native.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, great is a lot. But yeah, definitely Illinois native. Yeah.
You're a fib or a fish or however you want to talk shit about you for being...
Yeah. Wait. Fish, I've never heard. I've heard fib.
Fucking Illinois shithead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Illinois have one of those for Wisconsin people? Like a whip?
No.
Just don't talk to us as you speed
just
down our
look down
freeway,
at us all the
throwing
time.
trash out the window.
You know, just this, like cheesehead.
Yeah.
Just like still a cute thing.
Fat
to say.
fuck. I'm kidding.
We call you worthless.
Yeah.
The obese state.
I mean, I get the animosity. You know what I mean? I understand.
Yeah.
We come up there and we treat it like it's our outdoor playground, you know.
I look at it like it's like Funny Farm with Chevy Chase. Like that's like what Wisconsinites feel of Illinois people going
We come up there like,
and taking all like the great cabins, you know, like the family that's been like saving up their whole life to get a cabin on the lake, and then some Illinois person comes up and snags it, and and then they're living their summer life up there. So that's the kind of reputation, I guess, that it's always been.
I have a lot of friends from Illinois that have cabins in Wisconsin. I went to college in northern Wisconsin, like on Lake Superior.
Oh,
really?
Really?
Yeah,
That's like super north.
Like way north.
Yeah.
Went camping up in the Boundary Waters once.
Yeah, dude.
No way.
Saw the Northern Lights.
Lake Superior is like, well, it's Superior for a reason.
Dude.
It's like, it's crazy though, because at night, like, it fucking gets super still, and it's like eerily still, where it looks like just a sheet of fucking glass. It's like a mirror. Like,
yeah, it does get like that in some places, I guess. Like the Bay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Starman?
Yeah.
So
dude, Jeff Bridges.
yeah, where he crashes.
Okay.
Is they kind of mispronounce it in the movie, but I've heard it pronounced Shawamigan.
Yeah.
So it's the Shawamigan National Forest, and like that is right where that area is where I went to college. So it's
Really?
like you're on the lake, but that bay can be choppy. I mean, not like you're not going surfing, but it can beat the shit out of you. Like I
They
almost
do,
drowned
yeah.
in that lake a couple times.
Yeah.
They do surf on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I knew a kid in high school who would go surfing on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, and it's so crazy to like.
We would take our bikes downtown, like our dirt bikes downtown in the back of like a truck, and we would ride around in the city. I've only done this a couple times. This was high school. And then we would end up down by the lake, and we would jump the bikes into the water, and then we would have to swim back, kind of like holding the bike, you know. And And like the third or fourth time I went in with my bike, I was like swimming back, and it was just like, it was like a movie scene where you're like, is that a, oh, dude, that's a condom. Oh, that's a condom. And it was just like,
that's hilarious.
you know what I mean? It was just like getting closer because like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I almost dropped my bike. I was like, I got to get out of here.
I'm going to get pregnant.
Yeah, I'm going to have a baby.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
So wait, how far out of Chicago did you grow up?
You know, it's rough. I would say roughly an hour. But it's like, 30 miles, 40 miles probably.
Okay. All right.
That's kind of like
the suburbs.
Yeah.
It used to take less time to get into the city.
Yeah.
Now it takes more because there's more traffic and there's more people out in the suburbs for sure.
What suburb?
Southwest suburbs, but I'm from a town called Warrenville, which is right next to Naperville.
Yeah, I know Naperville.
Yeah, everyone knows Naperville.
Did you ever go up to Summerfest?
Yeah, dude, I saw Bob Dylan and Paul Simon at Summerfest.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a fucking great ticket, dude.
I took one shit in 5 different porta potties in that at that Summerfest. Dude. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, dude. Summerfest was fun. A buddy of mine used to DJ a radio station that he had a lot to do with Summerfest before I ever met him or knew him. I met him out in LA, but yeah, Summerfest is great, man.
Yeah, it's a good
They
time.
changed it though. It used to be like a congruent like 10 days, right? And now it's like they split it up over like the summer. It's really like
Multiple weekends.
5 weekends.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess that's cool. It's better. It probably makes more money.
Yeah.
I
also feel like it kind of fucked up the economy when there's like 10 days of people binge drinking and stuff.
Yeah,
and like
some people have to go to work and they can't. Like, I'm sure Summerfest wants them to binge drink more, and then they can't, or they do too much, they get fired, they can't come back next year because they don't have a job.
Traffic too. You're dealing with like everyone just like it's only 10 days. We got to go this time, but it's like just kind of chop it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean that's what they started doing with. Coachella's become multiple weekends. Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
That desert trip thing was multiple weekends. It just, it's again, it's probably a safer way for them to make more money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There was something to be said though about like during that 10-day stretch, you could go to like the Miller Oasis, right? You know, where there's like this Miller has like their signs there, right? And it's just a bunch of beer tents, right? And like the entire graduating class of Waukesha South would just be there with like a stack of like Solo cups, you know, just showing how many beers
They've
drank.
had. Yeah,
exactly. And like their T-shirts are no longer on; it's in their back pocket and stuff like that. And it's just like, hey, everybody that I went to school with, like, good
Dude,
to see you
class
guys.
reunion.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I was back in Wisconsin last week. I went to the State Fair. I don't know if you've gone to the Illinois State Fair or Wisconsin State Fair, but I think they're all the same. No matter where you go across the country, it's all like your general State Fair staples. You know, you got your corn dogs and your funnel cakes, and then the pigs and the
BTO is
cow.
playing. You got the Kansas or Foreigner.
Yeah. It's so funny.
dude.
It's like every band that wasn't like a big band playing it like for the main stage was just playing like what you would hear at every wedding.
Yeah.
Like every
Yeah.
wedding reception, like
The
all
top 40 rock and roll.
You like
It's
no
in
matter
Chicago
what.
at the fucking L.A. County Fair a couple years ago. Remember that? We're just like
Oh,
walking.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
is
it's
that fucking
a-
Chicago?
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Peter Cetera?
Yeah.
No, but probably Chicago without Peter
I
Cetera.
don't know. It was like probably 5-6 years ago at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Huey Lewis in the news at the Ventura
Yeah.
County Fair.
No shit.
Sticks.
Dude, how old is he now? Because he was like fucking 40 back in the 80s.
Dude, yeah, he's got to be close to 70. I mean,
Yeah.
Huey Lewis used to drive a delivery truck for Ken Kesey's brother's dairy farm. Like back, like when the Grateful Dead played a concert to save the dairy farm, Huey Lewis was like the delivery driver.
No way.
That's
and then
pretty cool.
later on, Huey Lewis in the News opened for the Grateful Dead in Portland. And
That's
they got
cool.
they all got to play together.
So take it, you're a big music guy.
Yeah, I like music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any concerts on the books coming up?
Yeah, actually I do. I just saw Dead and Company at the Sphere.
Okay. How was that, dude?
It was cool. It
Yeah.
was cool. And then I'm going to see Jane's Addiction on Tuesday
Okay.
at YouTube Theater, which I've never been to.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday I'm going to see Herbie Hancock at the Hollywood Bowl.
Okay.
And then next Monday I'm
Jesus.
Yeah.
And then next
You got
Monday-
a whole bunch going on.
I hope you would ask
I
about
think like is an
It's
understatement.
a loaded question. Yeah.
And then next Monday I'm going to see Sammy Hagar and Joe Satriani
No way.
at the Forum.
No
and there's
shit.
a small possibility I go see Megadeth at the YouTube Theater, but I
you should definitely
doubt
go.
it. Oh, and then Lamb of God, Mastodon, and Kerry King's new band are playing at the Forum, and that I might go see
That'd
because
be-
I like Lamb of God,
Yeah,
and I
Lamb of
like
God.
Kerry King, and I like Mastodon. So
Yeah.
I don't. Why not? You know.
Yeah.
A lot of, you're across the genres and stuff too. I appreciate.
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I don't. You gotta
Yeah.
spice it up.
Well, because
Yeah.
sometimes people that are like metalheads like will refuse to listen to anything like Huey Lewis in the News and shit. But like you got to appreciate all the stuff, man.
But I feel like that is a very childish because that's how exactly how I was.
Yeah.
In high school,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"You like that music? That top 40? That's fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's shit. That's not
Yeah.
music." Like,
Yeah.
Dude, I
because
suck, dude. Fuck those guys.
but also like when you look at how we like the parents we were around all said that what we listened to wasn't music.
Yeah.
Right.
Different, bad.
Yeah.
So when you're growing up, you're like,
Yeah.
"That's not what I like. It's
Yeah.
bad." And
Yeah.
then you're like, "I do kind of like that, but I can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I can't tell anyone that I sing along to Tina Turner in the car because people will be like, dude, what? I thought you were going to see Slayer." Like, yeah, fuck it. So, yeah, then you get older and you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I like what I like. I want to go.
Yeah.
And I love, like, I don't do anything. I literally don't do anything. If I'm not going out to do comedy, which I barely do anymore, I am not out of my apartment.
Yeah.
So live music is the thing that I spend my
Yeah,
money
man.
on, and that's what I like to do. And
What's your favorite LA venue?
the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, and in terms of that scale, that place is designed for,
Yeah.
a symphony.
Yeah.
It's designed for music. It's like I saw Guns N' Roses at Dodger Stadium. That was cool. Saw Guns N' Roses at the Hollywood Bowl. They sounded fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't even think if I saw Tom Petty. I mean, I've seen so many shows at the Hollywood Bowl, and every one has been outstanding.
Yeah. Man, I wish I would have saw that fucking Tom Petty like bowl tour, like, because it was literally, I'm like, next time he comes through, I'm gonna see him dead, like fucking that
Dude,
next day.
I've seen him probably like 5 times before those shows, and we were going to be out of town for all of them that were happening, and my wife had never seen him. And I was like, that's a bummer because he's really good. and he's one of my favorite people to see live. Next time he comes around, then we get back from out of town, and he's added one more night on a Monday. And I go, fuck it, dude, we're going to Tom Petty. And we went to that show, and that ended up being the last Tom Petty show. I also went to the last Grateful Dead show at Soldier Field in '95.
Wow.
Almost went to the last Stevie Ray Vaughan show at
really?
Alpine Valley. But
Yeah.
I was too hung up on, I was young, and I didn't want, my mom and my friend's mom offered to drive. And I was like, I'm not going to I had been to concerts with parents, but these parents were like, we're going to the beer tent. See you later. And we didn't have to deal with them. My mom wasn't going to go to the beer tent. She was going to want to know what we were doing the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm gonna wait till next year when I have my license.
Yeah.
Then I'll drive to Alpine Valley.
Wow.
And then the next morning, someone was like, dude, did you hear about Stevie Ray Vaughan? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's somebody like that.
Infuriating.
I would have
dude.
loved to have seen.
Oh
him.
my God.
I
Oh
would've
my God.
You
That's
never,
the equivalent of being like, oh, I'll see Hendrix next time he comes around.
Exactly.
And then you're like,
Exactly.
what? Like,
Yeah.
It became with that, and then for the Grateful Dead, I was very cocky. Like as a young person who was getting into that band, I knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to get annoyed at song choices, at repetition, at certain things that I had no business getting annoyed at. It's not for me to get annoyed at.
Right.
They're a band. If I don't like it, I don't have to fucking go.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
for me to be that, it was youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
that's not what I want to hear. No one
Yeah.
gives a shit.
Yeah.
But so I almost sat out those last shows in Chicago. I was like, I'm going to wait for Jerry to come around with his band because he has more fun playing with them. And then my buddy goes, well, you never know when it's going to be the last time.
Yeah.
And
No
I was
shit.
like, that's
Friend's
actually
the prophet.
actually a good call.
Yeah, it happened
Yeah.
before.
And I-
like
and I got-
Stevie Ray Vaughan is like
Yeah.
That's
I get
exactly
Stevie Ray
right. I
Vaughan
was
again,
like,
yeah.
dude, like literally 4 or 5 years before that, I was like, yeah, no, I don't want that again. I
Yeah.
want to be, but I wasn't thinking that it was going to be the last weekend.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then when it turned out to be, I was like, I'm really glad I went to those shows.
shit.
My
Yeah.
mom was at that last show, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but yeah. So from then on, it's like I was out of town for the last Van Halen show at the Hollywood Bowl. I'm
Yeah.
very upset about that. And I had Rush tickets to see them in LA, but I had to sell them because I had booked a commercial that was shooting in Canada.
Huh.
So I had to go to Canada while Rush was in LA, and then that would end up being the last Rush show. Because Neil Peart, they retired
Yeah.
kind of, and Neil Peart died. But
So you like the bands, and before we started talking on the podcast, you were saying you're into the whole van life thing, and you do stand-up comedy. Do you ever think of merging all those together and just like tour the country and just kind of play shows where like your favorite bands are playing and like just do that? And try
every
to, like,
waking second of my life, dude. Yes, I think about that all the time. And baseball. That's another like thing I love. So like if I could go roll into a town, see a day game, do an early comedy show, and then see a concert, and then go sleep in my van,
Yeah.
I would.
With your cat, yeah.
I could with my cat. I could do that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Till I, ran out of gas.
I think it's funny, like the older I got and older I get, like the more appealing that sounds. And I think about that too constantly. I'm like, oh man, like how much money do I need in order to just live off like a super minimalistic life, just travel around in my truck and like go and explore like, parks and things that I like and enjoy, but be able to have like some sort of an income. I've looked into like the Amazon, like you can get hired at Amazon distribution centers for like part-time work, and they pay like 20 some bucks an hour or whatever. Do that for a few weeks to get enough gas money and food money, and then go to the next town and just explore and then do that and live a life of a nomad kind of like that. It's very,
Dude.
very like,
Appealing.
It's so appealing.
I
very
think,
romantic.
But you hit on it too. It's like do the stuff that you like. Like,
Right.
like if you found a way to do comedy every night and you like doing that, that's great. Like I worked with this kid who was like, I said something like that. I said, I found a way to, even though I'm aged and I'm at an age where people are like, you should have a mortgage, you should have,
Right.
and I have none of that.
Right.
I'm at an age where I know that like I'm doing the things that I want to do, but if you, I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say anymore. I totally.
Yeah, if you can find an income that.
Oh
can,
no, this kid. I go. I found a way to kind of do the things I love all the time, and this kid goes, dude. And he was leading trips. He would take people camping and hiking and mountain climbing and stuff like that. And he goes, dude, I found a way to sleep outside almost every night of my life, and he means like in the woods, in the mountains. And he goes, that's all I want. And I'm like, dude, you win. Like, if you find the thing you like doing and you can just keep doing it, and it doesn't become a weight or a problem or an issue, then you've won. You're doing the thing.
Right.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, someday.
The end. Roll credits. Yeah, and also it's one of those things. Like I said the other day, I know full well my wife isn't going to go, yes, let's live in a van full time.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. That's never going to happen. But if I were ever to land a big job and be able to have enough money to buy a small van that I could we could take on trips.
Right.
We don't have to live in it, but I could keep it in the driveway,
go on a couple weeks, do like little 2 weeks.
Go to New York, see my brother, go to Illinois, see my mom, and be able to bring the cat and do the thing and go stop at national parks. And not have to like worry about hotels and all that.
Yeah.
Although I've priced it out, like during the we'll do one of those rentals. Like you can live in this van, we'll drive it out to New York. And I did like gas, how much the rental was, what they wanted, and amount of time I'd be gone. I'm like, it would literally be cheaper for us to get into our car and stop at 5-star hotels along the way and spend $300 a night on our way to New York than it would be to rent this thing. And it was too much. It was like, so you got to own it outright. And you have to, I mean, ideally, by the time I can afford to do something like that, they've mastered the electric van. You know what I mean? And I don't have to pay for gas, or it's solar powered somehow. You got those, you can put those panels on the roof, just like drive during the day, charge the car.
Even if you need to stay around for a couple of days to let your car charge, it's like, all right, well, it's going to take 2 days and it'll be good to go. Yeah, when he and I built my truck bed thing, my camper, my whole reason was like, okay, like shit was hitting the fan, and I was like, if I somehow am like can't live in my apartment anymore, if they're like kicking everybody out or they're trying to sell the property and stuff. I'd been in there for a really long time. So I was like, they're trying to get everybody out and like redo stuff and maybe turn it into condos. So I was like, shit, like I don't want to leave my town. Like I still love living in this town and I love my neighborhood. So my next thing was like watching a ton of those like, van life things.
Boondocking.
Boondocking. I'm like, well, shit, like I've been in the woods for a month before and like lived in the woods and was super comfortable with a tent. So a truck version of that with like a camper shell is like a 5-star hotel. Like it's covered, it's heated. I can do all the things.
You can still have a tent outside too for like a night you really want to sleep outside, but you've got the shelter and you've got a place to go in case of a storm, in case of
It was like a backup plan for like if I didn't have like adequate housing, like to live in the city, that I could like stealthily still survive and live and have a place to go and sleep and be safe.
Yeah, but full disclosure though, you've been trying to live in like alternative housing since like we used to be like commercial painters, and Eric like we painted an airplane hangar, and Eric's like, I could live in here, dude. Like just like always
they're
like
great.
Yeah, huge vaulted ceilings, right? Like, but just like all those type of things. Where I'm like, I just kind of want to have like a regular ass house and shit.
But you're talking like just living there with like maybe nobody knows you're living there, and just like.
Well, so we would paint these airplane hangars, and there would be a portion of it, like a quarter of it, that would be drywalled off and sectioned off with
like
heating
office,
and air conditioning. Like,
basically
like a 1-bedroom apartment, So like the guy whose airplane hangar would crash there the night before or whatever. And
bad choice of words for an airplane, huh?
yeah.
You die there.
He rests. He rests and sleeps. He doesn't crash.
And so it'd be like, oh, this is like pretty cool.
There the night before.
And then looking at those like structures, I started like researching them and stuff, and they were like super cheap. It was like maybe like $80,000 or $100,000 for a giant airplane hangar with like a drywalled off room. I'm like, that's way cheaper than a house. And then you just have to buy like a piece of land out in the middle of Wisconsin or nowhere, where it's much cheaper. And you could live there full year round and have like a fucking basketball court in your
dude. Or you could literally have airplanes come in and out of there and be like you find a guy who has a working hangar and be like, hey, I'll do maintenance. I'll check people in and out. I'll make sure the place is secure. I just want this room.
Right.
And then you got money, job, free place to live.
Yeah, or rent out your hangar for people that actually have planes. Be like, I charge
planes or parties. Fucking, I mean, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere, no noise ordinance, no nothing. You get proper
man. I think about
team.
goofy shit like that all the time and how to make money without doing like a normal brick and mortar 9 to 5 where I have to go somewhere and make an income. And you see everybody does it. Like I feel like I'm like the only person that hasn't figured it out, and I've tried
pulled
like
the trigger on it, man.
Like, well, I've tried T-shirt companies. Like all my clothes is like shit I've made, and like I try to sell, never sell anything. Like, I mean, they're all things that I enjoy doing. Like this podcast, one of those things. My clothes is one of them. But none of them have generated enough money to like sustain that kind of life or like anything really. It doesn't generate any money. So it's like, okay, I've always been the artist, never the businessman, and that's always the rub,
But I feel like if you keep doing that, I don't want to say it becomes a numbers game, but like I like to say that if you do something with love, you can't really fail at it.
Yeah.
So like if you love making T-shirts, you know what I mean? Like worst case scenario, you've made a bunch of cool T-shirts.
Right.
Best case scenario, you make enough money to buy a house off those T-shirts or whatever it is, But
there's never any like regret of pursuing any of those like artistic outlets.
No, because you're pursuing things that you enjoy, and if you keep doing that, I'm not saying keep making T-shirts or keep doing a thing that's not making you any money, but like if you keep moving along to things that you love doing and don't curb it to be like, well, everybody needs this, so I'm going to do this now, and this is the thing I don't know anything about or I don't care anything about.
Following trends. Yeah, and like always trying to chase after something.
If you do what you like, eventually something is going to click, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I can make money doing this thing I didn't even realize needed someone to do to have money made for it or whatever.
Yeah, that's like
Start
the next.
selling my speaker tables again, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like making them, it's only a matter of time before they get bought up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just the again, like Eric said, it's the business aspect of it, right? Where it's just like, oh, I gotta fucking like put this online, and then I think it's like you want to have the blow to your ear, where it's like no one fucking cares for it. And it's just like if you put it out there, maybe someone will start.
I need to get myself in like the ending ceremony at the next Olympics when it's in LA and do something like Tom Cruise did at the last the closing Olympics thing. Did you see that? Like, came out in like a fucking thing. There's like a big ass party in like Long Beach or Manhattan Beach, like from one of our coworkers.
Wasn't that pre-taped?
No, so like I guess today, like because it was the last day. So yeah, that was like taped there, or part of it was, but then he flew over here and they had like some big concert with like Snoop Dogg and like all these people down at the beach today.
Okay, because
like, ending ceremony.
I saw the ending ceremony where Tom Cruise like rappels in.
Yeah.
He drops in Mission Impossible style into the middle of the ceremony of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Takes the flag because it's like the handoff. Like now the next one's in L.A. I've never seen this before, so I don't know that this is every Olympics, but they're like, yeah, it's the handoff. This is what we're doing. I'm like, oh.
And then we're just like, okay.
And then he gets on a motorcycle. And first of all, I read this whole article that said that Tom Cruise went to the Olympics and was like, hey, I'm going to be here. Do you want me to do a thing where I drop in? And they were like, yeah, maybe, sure. But like, they didn't come to him and be like, Tom Cruise, we want you to be the guy. He was like, hey, I'm going.
Right.
Yeah.
What's a big stunt off the top of the fucking thing? It's like, so he did that. Then he grabs the flag. He takes the flag from whatever the mayor of the Olympics in France or whatever, puts it on a motorcycle, rides out. Like, first of all, he's trying to shake hands with people. This lady jumps on him, kisses him, tries to take pictures. He's like, he's a 62-year-old man. Dude, Tom Cruise is 62 years old.
Crazy.
Dude, it was so insane. Puts the flag on the motorcycle, rides the motorcycle out, and then he whipping through the streets of London, Mission Impossible style, and then he's on a plane. Oh, he drives the motorcycle up to the back of a plane that's on a runway. And all the while, like, I think the guy is talking like, oh, we have a,
he's commentating like, there he goes.
Not necessarily commentating, but like, Tom's going to take the flag back to the, sort of giving us not a blow by blow, but like an overall storyline.
This is what's happening because this is so crazy.
Because it's so weird. You're like,
everyone's trying
I was
to
just watching the Olympics. What happened? What am I watching now?
Is this a new event in the Olympics?
So then he's on the plane. Then he puts the goggles. He puts goggles on. He's got the backpack, the fucking chute. He fucking parachutes out of the plane, like drops out. Like clearly there's a cameraman following him. I mean, it's Tom Cruise. He's skydiving.
Yeah.
He's in the air. Then you're like, oh, he's over Los Angeles. Okay. Then he lands. Where did he land? He lands in the middle. Oh, he lands in like. Shit, I can't remember.
Yeah, somebody was telling me about it today too. They didn't know where it was.
So he lands.
Like
the spatial thing, it's ridiculous because he lands somewhere and then all of a sudden he is. Oh, he's looking. Where does he go? Where does he go?
Yeah.
He runs. It's like, and then I literally go, oh, he's up by the wisdom tree. He's literally on that little hike up by
really?
the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
And then he's like climbing the Hollywood sign, and then he's like clipping, and then they pull back on the Hollywood sign, and he's hung up Hollywood, but now the O's are Olympic. The color of the Olympic rings, and there's 3 over the 2, so it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then he
I did not know about this.
And then he ends up. I don't know how he gets to Long Beach, Venice. But then he's in Venice with the flag, I think. And then he runs up on stage, or he runs up towards the stage. Oh no! Then he hands it off someone, and then a skateboarder ends up with it. No, this is what it is. Tom Cruise.
This is all a lie. This is all just made up.
Tom Cruise at the Hollywood sign. He hangs the O's. Then an Olympic mountain biker comes up. He gives the flag to her. She puts it on her mountain bike. She rides down the mountain. She rides to a skateboarder. Gives it to the skateboarder. The skateboarder takes it to Venice. At Venice, he's like, "Yay, America!" or whatever, and then they show the stage, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers start playing.
That's what it was.
No
okay,
shit.
so it was in Venice. That's where
Yeah.
it was. So that was today, apparently.
Yeah, and
So-
they're playing LA 28, so that's right. Tom Cruise wasn't in that part, so yes, that could have been today. Because the other shit was pre-recorded.
That just shows like how much shit goes on in this town, because that wasn't even something that was like everyone was talking about. It wasn't on all the news things yet, like it was just like I heard about it from one person today.
Yeah,
like,
the people of the Chili Peppers fan club website. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
guys
yeah.
probably are the ones who populated that.
yeah, that's pretty nuts. I another thing with the Olympics, you guys see all this crazy shit with the fucking breakdancers.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah. It's
So
hilarious.
like everybody is seeing like on Instagram and all this shit, like people that are like doing all this stuff where it makes it look like they're floating, and they're like really, really impressive, like breakdancer, like specialists, right? What I saw of the clips from the Olympics was like those 1980s like
the chick I
white
fucking
moms
posted, yeah.
like Karens and like
Well,
like,
because
this
you're
is how you
seeing the
break
one
dance.
clip, you're seeing the one lady over and over again.
No, there was that lady, and there was like this other Asian lady. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, okay, she's gonna
41.
rip it up, and I don't know, and it was just like the weakest shit. I'm like, what is this shit? And then I saw another thing too, where like they had some lady in a race. It was like some running race, and it's like some country fucking I don't know. Like I don't know if you watched the Olympic. Was it the
Opening ceremony?
the opening ceremony, and they had all the boats come in, and like America's got like 500 fucking athletes competing and stuff, and then they have these like smaller boats, like this country.
One guy, like,
I've never
It's like a
heard
Johnson
of.
outboard motor.
Yeah,
too.
like a fishing boat. Like
Exactly.
never
Looks
heard
like
of
he
these
accidentally
countries.
got into the parade.
Yeah, there's like
Sir,
5
Olympics now.
people on
Yeah.
the boat, and you're like, oh shit. Now, I saw this thing today where it's like I'm assuming one of the people from like one of those smaller boats was on like a race with other bigger countries. And like it looked like just some mom off the street was like racing or running against a bunch of like super.
Someone's got to represent us.
Yeah, like super pro athletes. It was just like.
Well, there are some specimens, man. There are some people that make other athletes look like they're not athletes. You know what I mean? Like there
For sure,
are
for
some
sure.
fucking crazy athletic people that were competing in some of those
All
games.
of the women athletes for America are like drop dead gorgeous too. Like
Dude,
I don't know if you saw that. It was
it
like
is insane.
every girl's like, is this like a model or something? And
For-
there's like the
first
gold
you're
medals
like-
is like Jesus
You're
Christ.
like,
these
oh,
girls
is it
are
a
all,
model?
like-
Then they're the fastest person out there. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And then they talk to me like, yeah, I'm a brain surgeon.
Yeah,
You know, as soon as I get
exactly.
done with this, I go save orphans.
Yeah.
And then I build houses
Like-
for the needy.
yeah,
And
I'm
you're
like, these people
dude,
are incredible.
How the
like,
fuck? You're like,
Just can't find a date.
yeah, but that's single.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
hard out
too
here in the
busy.
streets, yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, any guy's going to feel like a piece of shit next
Yeah,
to you.
yeah,
So,
100%.
yeah, man. No, there is definitely. I found myself much more interested in the female sports in general, and I think that's like, I don't know what that is. If that's
Just
like
racing in general.
Well-
like anytime there's volleyball or like kind of like those sports, I'm like, I don't really give a shit about this. But like when there's like people just racing each other, I don't know. There's something like
That's the
instinctive
first,
about that.
That's the first real sport, racing. I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
faster than you. I can get
yeah.
there.
Everyone can relate, and everybody's
That-
ran before.
That
you know.
and the
Shot put.
throwing
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
throwing things as far as you can, running as fast as you can. That has to be like the first Greek.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, you got your toga,
Like wrestling. Yeah.
Lifting
wrestling,
heavy,
yes,
lifting
wrestling.
heavy shit, running really fast, throwing shit far. Like that's like the
Olympics.
things. Yeah, that's
Those
what
are
you
Olympic
think of.
sports.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
This is the second time we've had like skateboarding in the Olympics and shit. And like I didn't watch this year's, but like the last one, like the chicks fucking dominated it, man. Like there was some really fucking good girls out there skateboarding and shit. And like, as someone that skateboarded and like got tickets for like loitering and all like the ways they try to catch you up in like in Wisconsin for skateboarding, which is funny. They'd sell you a skateboard, and then the second you use it on the street,
You're in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Destruction of property, fucking loitering, all that kind of shit. But like, these chicks would like, during the free skate, they're doing all these crazy tricks. When it comes like trick to trick, it's just like they're doing like a trick off, if you will, right? There's like just the fear comes over and everyone's just choking. Like no one can land anything.
Really?
It's fucking super bizarre. Yeah, when you're putting that real like that, all right, now's your time. Do that fucking like pop shove it fucking 360 down the handrail. It's just like, just fucking like the board goes off and stuff like that every fucking time.
You're on the biggest stage in the, what I mean?
Yeah,
Everybody
God,
is
yeah.
looking at you. And,
I mean-
and the people that don't, I don't want to even say there are purists out there who are like, these sports shouldn't be in the Olympics, but there are people watching go, see, this is why I shouldn't have skateboarding in the
Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Breakdancing, they've already said they're not bringing to LA. They're not bringing it back. Which
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised
absolutely
either.
horrible.
But like,
But the floor routine, that's like another thing where it's just like, what is this? Like the ribbon dancing and the fucking
ribbon
like, the
dancing and not.
dude, but some of that shit, some of those people are amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Same
it's
thing with
crazy.
breakdancing though. You know what I'm saying? Where there's like
Breakdancing a lot of it looked like, I don't want to say bad floor routines because I don't want to say that.
I would
like,
say. Yeah, I know where you're going.
I would
Look,
just say if you're gonna have one, you have to have the other. And one's been like kind of like in the Olympics forever and stuff. So it's like we keep it in there, but like
I don't think you. I think you should give breakdancing another go.
Yeah.
I think you
Give it a break, you know what I
like
mean?
maybe you try to improve on the. I don't know on whatever, but like.
But I mean, isn't that just like a floor routine of gymnasts? Like, isn't it like like you take a
Except
Biles?
modern floor
it's
routine,
more
yeah.
like improv though because they don't know the songs they're gonna dance to.
oh really?
Oh,
No.
really?
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I was like, so this is their routine, and Nicole was like, no, this is them, because they would feel the music, and then they would have to dance to songs that the DJ was picking, and then they would like, if they could pause on a beat or whatever, they were like, the judges were like, what? Like, they really were
That
like.
just seems like such a bad idea, though. For like,
It's like improv. It'd be like it's the improv Olympics.
Yeah,
like
I mean-
literally.
No, thank you.
We're gonna do some improv at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I want to see like I keep seeing this this like meme. It's like they should just take a normal person and do a split screen of a normal person doing whatever event it is, like side by side of a professional athlete, just to show you how hard that what they're doing is. And I think it would just like make the Olympics even, because it's so incredible. Like half the time those like girls that are doing all the gymnast flips and the guys too, they're like, yeah, if we like fuck up, like we could die. Like we could this like, everything we do is like super deadly. Like it looked at as like, oh, we're just jumping around and flipping around, but it's like no, like if you fuck up, like you could just snap
Broken
your
neck, dude.
fucking
Yeah.
head off your body.
That's why Simone Biles, when she like the last Olympics, when she's like, I'm out, and people were like, you fucking quitter. It's like,
Yeah.
she jumps like 13 feet in the
Yeah.
air. She twists around more times than like a superhero.
Yeah.
Like you just said, if she lands wrong,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like
I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, but at least America doesn't think I'm a
Yeah.
quitter. Like,
Yeah.
fuck
I watched
you.
Did you watch that documentary?
No.
So that documentary that she has, I think it's on Netflix, but it goes over that whole time when she went through that, and you're like I didn't know there was like a huge uproar about it, but because she was going to be on the new Olympics, I was like interested. I'm like, oh, what is this girl about and all this stuff? And I was like, yeah, like she literally is like, yeah, like any one of these routines that I do, if I fuck up, like I could die. And like people don't think that it's that serious
It's
of
the
a
Ricky
thing.
Williams thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you're going to retire, you piece of shit. He's like, okay, tell me, when can I retire?
Yeah.
When has my body had enough? You
Yeah.
tell me
Yeah.
when my body has had enough. Old fat white guy.
right.
Gotta do it for America.
Yeah, you're just like, dude, it's they know themselves better than you. They're a trained athlete at this
Right.
point. They are more in tune with their body than the average human will ever be. Ever.
Right.
And that's like, yeah, I'm not going to do this because it's dangerous. Quitter.
Yeah. And then she was saying too, she's like, yeah, like all these people that are fucking talking shit are saying it on their couch and they can't even do a
They're
fucking
calling in
cartwheel.
sick for work
They
on
can't even do a
Monday, dude.
cartwheel.
It's like
Exactly.
they're like, I got a hangover.
Yeah.
I'm not going. Yeah, I guess she's a quitter. Like,
I mean,
get
the
fuck
amount
outta
of
here.
pressure that all those athletes have, like going into it, being like someone, especially like her, that has all these gold medals and all this pressure on her to like be like the presumed next gold medalist and win all this stuff. Like, can you imagine that? Like, just in anything in your life, if you're like, you're gonna fucking kill it today, no matter what you do. Like, you're not gonna fuck up, no matter what. Like, just putting that pressure on yourself, and then you have like billions of people watching you. Literally, the whole fucking world is watching you. Oh my god,
Half of them
fuck
rooting for
that.
you, the other half waiting for you to fail.
Yeah, like, oh my god, like that. Like, I was getting anxiety just watching like them compete and being like, oh my god, like putting myself in like when they're running on the track and shit too. Like oh my god, like they practiced like for the last like 4 years of this. Every millisecond matters. Like like the buzzer's gonna go off. Like every little fucking second matters so much. Do you ever see like they have those speakers behind each of the runners? So then when they do like the gun or whatever, there's no delay because there's a 0.8 second delay as far as like where you're stanced at. So everybody hears the noise at the exact same second because like such like minuscule times that can make you or break you.
Dude, that one runner, he jump started, disqualified.
Yeah, man.
Worked his whole life to get to the Olympics. Like, oh God, I got excited. I mean, that sucks, dude. It's like we can't have a rule where it's like, all right, 2 out of 3, whatever. It's like, come on, man, like. It's about sportsmanship, and also like people should be allowed at least one huge fuck up like that.
You're not perfect. You'd want to know that you like beat everybody else like fair and square. Like
right.
Like, I know
like,
it's a
I beat
rule.
that guy because he didn't start on time. And he got disqualified.
Like,
nobody wants to win like that. They've even said when medals are moved over, and like, oh, this person it turns out didn't. The people are like, this is great, but. Not how I wanted to win.
You know what we were missing this Olympics is Russia, man. Like that's always been the greatest competition. Is like we got to beat Russia. It's always like the fucking like you go back in any Olympics, Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics. It's always like the hockey. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude.
The fucking like the gymnasts. You know what I
Are
mean?
they going to be kicked out of the summer ones too? Or the California ones when they
I'm
in 4
guessing
years?
that until they stop beating up on Ukraine, that
Invading
they're going to
countries.
be banned from the Olympics.
So is it like mainly because of Ukraine, or is it like because of that, and like they're probably just all roiding out and cheating and trying to like sneaky do
it's
like
probably
a bunch?
both. I mean, like there was a huge problem with them last Olympics, correct? Like a lot of
I
them
always just
were all
assume they're just
roided
like
up.
trying to cheat or
You're
do
like, I
some
saw
shady
Rocky
shit.
4. I know how it works
yeah,
over there. They
he's
got
like-
Ivan Drago hooked up to some machines. Well, in America, we're running up mountains with logs on our backs. Okay, the old-fashioned way.
Right, we're running in the snow, knee deep.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
I'm. It could have been both because I know there was a lot of doping going on with Russia where they were caught. I don't know. I'm not saying no one else was doing it. I'm just saying it seemed to be.
I feel like they would push the envelope, or like just like we have our own people that check out.
We have
the
our own doctors.
Yeah, and they said no, so like it'd be like one of
Dr.
those things.
Steroid says he's okay.
Doctor, this is Dr. Roids,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have a
Dr.
problem with what we're
He
doing.
signed off on
North
this.
Korea is not in the Olympics, is it?
Yeah,
Are they?
North and South.
Really?
They were taking selfies together.
No way.
North and
Yeah.
South Korea? Really?
Bring it- yeah.
I need to
They
watch
actually
North
announced
Korea.
I think it was North Korea as South Korea or some shit. Like they.
Oh yeah,
it
I
was a
think
big
I saw
fucking
that.
snafu with
It was
that,
like the Democratic something. of,
People's Republic of Korea or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
There was a guy dressed up as Kim Jong Un
Oh,
at
he's
the
dead
Olympics,
now,
like
for sure.
banging on a rubber chicken, walking around or whatever.
How
Oh, yeah, he's
fucking
murdered.
scared
Dude.
are you if you're a North Korean in the Olympics and you
see-
don't win?
Dude, that's what I think about when I watch the Olympics and you see those little countries and they're like, there's some huge like, oh, they could have won, they didn't win. You're like, they got to go
Yeah.
back to a dictator.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
who's
yeah.
like,
they're fucked.
like
Who
they,
was it?
dude,
Saddam Hussein's son, the fucking soccer team that he fucking like had murdered. And shit.
yeah,
Remember that?
dude, it's like
Talk about I mean, Simone Biles, no, like disrespect for her fucking pressure scenario, but like when you basically know, like if you don't win this game, you're fucking dead. Your
dude,
family's
there's soccer goalies that have been murdered in Mexico because they went somewhere and lost a big game and then come back like, well, we'll try again next season. No, you won't.
Yeah.
You'll be dead. You're dead.
Your family's all
Yeah,
dead too.
yeah. Everyone you know is that your bloodline has
Yeah.
ceased to exist because I'm mad
paint
that
the
you
house,
lost
put it
the
back on the
game.
market. Yeah, dude.
It's wild. It's
Yeah.
wild how like you do have to worry about that.
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, America ain't all that bad. We got a really weird election cycle going on right now.
Yeah, everything's weird. Things are fucked. But man, you know what? None of our athletes are getting murdered when they get home by our government because they didn't win.
Right. Well, yeah, and then you can kind of see, like, it kind of prefaces that when it shows you, like, I've seen those things where it shows you, like, what each country's gold medalist receives if they win. And it's like America gets $23,000 if you get a gold medal.
Oh, really?
And, and then other countries, it's like one country gives you a house, another one gives you, like, a 2-bedroom condo and a car. One gives you, like, free, I think it was, like, ramen
Saudi
noodles
Arabia
for life or
life.
some shit. Like, some crazy shit. Like,
You can still live.
They had it underneath each gold medal for each
Surprised
country.
America isn't just like a Crave case of White Castle and like a fucking some Budweiser.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Hey,
some, like,
thanks
super-
for doing that.
Donald's
20
for life.
23 grand though.
2-day pass to Disneyland.
Yeah, it's and it's blackout dates. It's a good problem. Oh, that's crazy. I did not realize there was money. Do you get money if you win a bronze?
Yeah, they had like a breakdown
It's like $10.
for
It's like really shitty. They're like, here's your $5 bill.
get admission to the next Olympics. Or
You
something.
get
Free
it
admi-
you get to watch all the next Olympics from anywhere in the
Gold
venue.
Sacagawea coin.
You get a free cable account. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, all that stuff is so fucking crazy. Another thing that's crazy that I heard in the news, I was listening to Steve-O's podcast. Did you ever listen to that?
I like how you said the news and then you said Steve-O's podcast. Like, I don't know
my
if those are
news
the
source.
same thing, but okay.
in what is it? Celebrity news or something, I guess. So he had
culture.
Bert Kreischer on his podcast, and they were talking, and I just turned it on. I'm listening to it when I go for a hike, and he's like, yeah, so what's this thing about, breast implants? And I was like, what is this thing about breast implants and Steve-O? And apparently, like, somebody offered Steve-O to get his tits done and said he'd give him $25 right here and now if he would do it.
25 grand.
25 grand to get his tits done. And he was like, oh, I can't pass up that. Like, I'm a guy that does things that, like, nobody thinks I would ever do. And so, like, of course, I took the deal. And so he's like, he was like getting ready to get prepped to go into the surgery and do it and everything. And the guy that does the anesthesiologist backed out of it because he thought it was like there's too much like focus on it. If anything happened to him, like if he died or like something went wrong with the surgery, that he would get like, blacklisted or all this stuff. And so he postponed it, but he's still like gonna do it. He's gonna get like tits done. He's gonna get like double D tits.
Anesthesiologists, you ever like hear the bad track record of those people? I was listening to the news, aka podcast.
All right, Steve-O's podcast.
Exactly.
Another
And there's
episode.
a guy that like went in for some surgery, had some stomach pain. They were gonna go and do an exploratory surgery for his gallbladder and shit like that. And there's like two parts to it. There's like the one that basically makes you fucking like go to sleep, and the other one that like makes you not feel pain. And the guy forgot to put the pain one in, so this guy was just fucking like his muscles were all relaxed. He was sitting there, he couldn't even open his eyes. He was completely fucking like had no control over his muscles, and was in a fucking like 15-minute surgery while they're poking around in his stomach and shit. I'm like, oh my god, that's like my biggest fear. I would try to like swallow, just choke on my own spit or something, because like I'm claustrophobic, but being stuck in your own body while people are just fucking knifing through your intestines and shit, like I just think we need to screen.
You would have to dig very, very deep to remain sane in that situation.
Yeah.
That is like an Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
For real.
That's like remember that show Alfred Hitchcock Presents?
Yeah.
This guy's driving, he gets in a car accident, they think he's dead.
Yeah.
He's just paralyzed. And they're like, they're going to cut into him, they're going to do, it's like, in the original one, the doctor notices a tear. He's like, this man is still alive. And the other one, they cut into him. And the newer one, they're like, and he's like, ah. But he's also, they paint him to be a huge asshole. So it's like, oh, well.
Well,
But still, yes, big nightmare.
Yeah, for real.
Claustrophobic.
big
I don't
nightmare.
like,
No,
I don't
dude.
like any of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything that like involves you like being like in a vegetative state, like because you hear that kind of shit when people are in like a coma forever, and like they hear the nurse in the room like talking shit about them, or like women that get fucking like fondled while they're like under and shit, and it's just like,
Oh my God, dude. Give me a.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, I
Yeah.
can't even be a woman in a coma.
Yeah, for real.
What if someone proposed to give you $2 million to get a tit job? Would you do it?
No, dude.
$2
$2
million.
million to get tits.
Dude,
How long do I have to keep them?
Yeah, the next question.
5 years.
Nah, I don't know.
Some trauma. You have some like fucking like trauma for 5 years of being.
How big? Can I hide them
Double
with like
Ds.
a baggie with double
Yeah, double
Ds?
Ds.
No.
I mean, on a man, that probably wouldn't look that bad.
Yes, it would. Are you fucking insane? What are you talking about?
That would be that noticeable.
I got double D's. They don't look that big. He's a
fucking
guy,
huge
so they don't
dude,
look bad.
Next time you guys see me and I'm driving in a Lamborghini and I got a nice rack, I don't say anything about it.
That's the grossest thing you've ever seen. I hope you're enjoying that
big
car.
tit Eric over there.
I'll just ignore, play it off. Like, what are you guys talking about? I'm just fucking got these giant
You better
cans.
get a gut to match. You better fucking just like put on like a ton of pounds.
Dude, that's what you'd have to do. You would have to
Sure.
just get fat as shit. So we were like, God, you see that guy's tits? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's just fucking eating cheeseburgers.
Just wear
He's
one of
got a
those-
huge. He's got some perky tits.
Wear one of those like
Perky man
like
boobs.
bra strappy thingies to hide
You
your
can't
tits. That
fuck,
like
they're silicone. They're fucking
double
like plastic.
D's
Yeah.
though. Like you're talking about like
Yeah.
like if you were like just get like a little B cup, little
Yeah.
B minus
Couple
cup.
bee stings on there, but
Little
you
bee
fucking
stings,
yeah.
like maybe for $2 million.
yeah.
Because I already kind of got to. I'm already like kind of, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, just-
my body's can handle a bigger tit, but like double, like you're talking like you can't hide that.
that's what
Yeah.
Steve-O is gonna get. He's getting double D tits. That's just fucking crazy.
You know, I don't even know. It's like I hope he is genuinely happy doing the things he does. I hope
think
he's
that
enjoying
I
himself.
fucking
No,
is.
dude, the amount of substance abuse that guy has, like he's clearly not a happy person.
Well, but now
There's like
but
some-
he's
there's like
sober
some-
now.
Yeah, he's sober. He seems pretty happy.
Yeah,
I think he really get like that makes him happy just doing things that like people don't want
The
to
shock
do.
value,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's like that's his drug now. Like
Yeah.
just doing weird.
Well, I mean,
I think it
also,
always was. But
I don't know. I don't followed his stand-up trajectory or anything, but I've heard that he has gotten better. Meaning,
Yeah.
he's trying. He's not just like,
Yeah.
I'm Steve-O, I can stay my butt. You know what I mean? He's approaching it now as someone who writes jokes and goes.
Yeah,
you know what
that,
I mean?
like
So it's
his podcast definitely reflects that of him being
His
not,
news program?
Not
Steve-O CNN segments
Yeah.
definitely reflect that.
his news podcast. Yeah, he does definitely come across as someone that's more like retrospective and like this is where I was and like
Yeah,
now I'm
dude.
like I've
Because-
changed and
look,
I'm
All right, you guys. I'm sorry. I was speaking ill about the great.
No. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, when he first came to the stand-up thing, I was like, okay, this is what we need, another fucking
Yeah.
guy taking up stage time, you know. But again, he reflected. People are allowed to growth. They're allowed
Right.
change. They're allowed to become better people.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
allowed,
yeah.
and that's not anybody's fucking business as to why or how he wanted to do that. But he likes to tell
'Cause
everybody.
There was
so.
definitely a time, like when he was on, I think it was like Adam Carolla when he had his own talk show. He went on there and was just fucking wasted out of his mind on all these drugs and like was breaking this glass table with his foot and like they had to stop the shit. It was just like he was just a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, because
and-
he thought that's what people wanted
right,
from him.
right. And I think now he kind of like has grown past that and has definitely changed from
A lot of those
listening to
guys,
him.
man, had a hard time coming out of that fucking thing. Like Bam Margera, he's still like a fucking mess, man.
Yeah, I mean a lot of I think people that were on TV for their youth. I mean, you got to
Really,
think
no,
when that
more so like the Jackass dudes, because
yeah,
they were like,
I mean those guys were young. Those guys were in their early 20s when they were like they were basically like one of the biggest shows on TV, and you got all this money and all this attention.
Not that much though.
yeah.
It's still MTV. Johnny Knoxville, I'm sure made
True.
money. You know,
Johnny Knoxville's like the RZA from fucking like Jackass, where like he made all the money.
he
and
was
the
his.
rest got the
Look,
fucking-
he's the guy that was like, well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I first saw Jackass, I was like, God damn it! If I would have just had a video camera when I was in high school.
Sure.
I could have this show.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these are my friends. This is stupid shit
absolutely.
we would do. Like, and obviously we weren't insane. We weren't launching people in porta potties or whatever. But
Yeah.
like bike
You didn't have the
tricks,
budget yet.
and
You know what I mean? That's
fucking,
the
you
thing,
know,
though.
it's like
Yeah.
we didn't have the budget to do shit like that. It's like we would, you know, falling down, getting hurt, very comical.
Yeah.
So, but Johnny Knoxville was the guy who goes, we can monetize this.
So I wonder if Johnny Knoxville owned like Bam Margera's show that he had, that spinoff where he would like beat his dad up and shit.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
don't know
all
if he
that
owned
stuff.
it, but he might have been an executive
Executive
producer.
producer,
Yeah, you know, because it's kind of creative.
Definitely making a lot more money than like a regular 9-to-5 job, or probably more money than they had in the past. I
Sure.
would
Yes.
imagine,
Yeah.
you know?
Although
And-
wasn't Bam a professional skater? I don't know what I.
He was.
Again,
Yeah, yeah. He
I don't
was
know
a
what that
professional
fucking shit
skater.
pays, but like, which I know I've heard he's skating again. I don't know why we're.
he?
Yeah.
I
mean,
hope
not
so.
professionally, but like, I know that Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville, those guys reached out to him for the last movie. He
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. There was whatever, and then I saw a video of him kind of sober skating
Yeah,
again. And
I think he's probably the next guy to hopefully like turn the corner and like kind of get himself better, because I think all those guys are like like they remind us of like, being an adolescent, being a goofy kid, doing stupid shit. And now they're at that point where they're kind of go, retrospective and grow and do something else positive with their lives. It's either that or you're just waiting for them to like everyone to overdose and go back, fall off the wagon.
I hope that doesn't happen. I don't. Yeah. I would rather they figure their shit out and
you always want like an underdog story, like see someone at the top and they fall from grace and then they're like back on top again. That can happen so
Charlie
fast.
Sheen,
Yeah,
on the top, fell back.
So it's like that line in the what's that movie Balboa, Rocky, the one where Balboa, where he owns the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And his kid comes talk to him and he says, life isn't about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep getting up.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Rocky's always got some fucking just
wisdom, dude. He's a wise man.
For real. Yeah. Again, people can talk shit about Rocky, Sylvester Stallone all they want, but like that guy, again, from having a stroke, writing an amazing script and not selling it until he actually gets started himself, and then it's the greatest underdog story of all time, man.
He had a stroke?
That's why his face is all fucked up.
Really?
Yeah. That's not just part of the fucking Italian
before he
charisma.
sold the script?
Before he ever did anything.
So he was like hella young when he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He's got like a crazy story with his dad being like a real asshole and shit and just kind of like
Oh yeah. Like I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
God, I could have wrote the script better. I could have done it better and like try to like one up him no matter what he did. He's like, I'm better than you. Like literally try to I think rewrite his kid's story and like try to sell it, like kind of snub him out. This is like crazy weird shit. People have really fucked up like families and like
yeah, man. I mean,
come from really fucked up backgrounds,
I like Stallone though. I mean, I like Stallone movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Rambo movies were great. You know what I mean? That's
Dude.
like the he like kind of set the tone for that. Like, I put my guns down. I'm no longer doing this. And then like the fucking helicopter lands on his like field and shit.
We need you back in the field, Rambo.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, First Blood. And if you would have just done First Blood and the movie Rambo, and then the movie Last Blood, that would have been a good trilogy.
Yeah.
But you have those two in there, Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Part 3, and those are very bad movies.
But you wouldn't have had the fucking like what was the Hot Shots? Because
that's true.
Hot Shots was fucking
Hot Shots was funny,
sure.
and that was literally a spoof on.
Yeah.
It's like it's like if they didn't make 6 Mission Impossible movies, we probably wouldn't have Tropic Thunder.
I'm waiting for that. Like that's gonna come back into like favor again. Like those kind of like spoof movies. Like they were so big in the 80s and the 90s. Like everything
I was just
was
watching Top Secret the other day.
Yeah,
great
movie.
Super underrated.
Robin Hood, Men in
fucking-
Tights.
yeah.
Like another spoof movie.
What the Naked Gun, dude.
Naked
Those Leslie
Gun.
Nielsen movies are fucking hilarious. And there's like this. I don't know how it came up. I found like some clip of like when he goes into like the lieutenant's office, the sergeant's office and shit. And she's like Frank, you killed like those guys
in the Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah, exactly.
When I see a bunch of weirdos in togas stabbing a guy, I shoot first and ask questions later. They were doing Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah.
He's like, huh?
They were good actors too. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was a TV show, Files from the Police Squad. Yeah, dude. Just the opening sequence where it's the top of the car driving through like the women's shower. And you're watching it as a kid. Like, I saw Naked Gun in the theater with on a double date. I was in 8th grade. I saw it on a double date. Me, my buddy Glenn, and then these 2 girls that were with us. The movie started, and me and Glenn started laughing. These chicks went to the bathroom, never came back.
No way.
On the way out of and I didn't even realize it. And on the way out of the movie, they were in the lobby, and I go, "What are you guys doing out here? Were you out here the whole time?" And they go, "Yeah, you guys were laughing too hard. It was uncomfortable." And I go, "Well, that was probably the funniest movie I've ever seen." I like dragged my mom to see that movie. I was like, "You got to see this movie. It is hilarious."
Yeah,
Like,
Dumb and Dumber was like I had to get like the family. We got to go see this again. It's fucking hilarious.
Dumb and Dumber's great.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think
Kingpin.
those will all come back.
That's
into
all like
favor.
the Zucker brothers though.
Yeah.
The fucking
Airplane and I just saw Airplane the other day. Someone showed me this online. Like I know Airplane is a spoof movie about the airport movies or whatever, but there was a movie in the 50s that is they go almost scene for scene.
For sure. Dude,
I've never seen that. And it's like the
Some
same
of the same
dialogue
cast,
except there'll be a punchline in the
Really?
It's like we have to get him to a hospital. What is it? Well, he's sick. Then airplane. We have to get him to the hospital. What is it? It's a building with patients and doctors. But that's not important right now. It's like they just took the regular dialogue. Like, just put a joke at the end.
That's funny.
Just put a joke at the end. Just put a joke at the end. It was like really, really well done.
I think even
though.
like Robert Stack was in that, like the original.
The original
like,
one,
airport.
yes, dude. There's a couple of the same actors. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Dude, it's good.
Those dudes were super ahead of their time, man. And then it's funny because they went and did like Green Book, right? That was another like Zucker brother movie.
Was it really?
Yeah, man, with fucking Mahershala. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude. They won an Oscar for that.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was Zucker Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
What's Green Book? I don't know. I'm lost.
Green Book is the.
It's like the book that like the blacks would use to try to find safe states for travel for like touring musicians and shit. And it was like the guy from Eastern Promises, Viggo Mortensen's like the driver, Mahershala Ali's like the talent and stuff like that. And like the Zucker brothers, like I don't know if it was both of them, but I know for sure one of them wrote and directed that movie. It was like a.
Now you're not talking about the Coen brothers. You're talking
Not
about
Coen brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, there needs to be more like I think.
Look at your mind over there blowing.
Well, it is. It's really like Zucker. Like, did Abrams have anything to do with it? Because I know Zucker were the guys that like did Airplane. So I don't know.
He was the funny one out of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the Zuckers was very serious.
Yeah.
And he wrote Green Book. And did it write it or produce it? Directed it?
I think they wrote and directed it. Yeah.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah, there needs to be more
fucking do
comedy
like
though, like real comedies. Like I feel like there's not real comedies anymore. They're like Kevin Hart kind of comedies where it's like this weird. It's not like they're not edgy. They're like for the whole family kind of shit. Like you were saying.
Funniest movie I've like seen recently, and it's only because I've saw it 1,000 times with my kid, is the fucking Lego Batman movie. That is like still holds up. Have you seen that?
I've seen part of it. Yeah,
It is
Lego
like,
Batman.
if you like Batman movies, it is like the ultimate Batman movie, and it plays on every iteration of Batman.
Yeah.
And just all those like just the origins of him and all that kind of stuff and the fucking tropes. It's fucking hilarious, man.
It's like The Flash.
You'll learn it. Yeah. Well, The Flash with fucking Michael Keaton come
I
back.
want to see more R-rated comedy
great.
movies though, like Superbad or Tropic Thunder, like those
Dude,
kind of
I was
movies.
just thinking about Tropic Thunder. God, I love that movie.
Yeah, like they should like that genre. I feel like is gone because of like how like society is now. You can't get away with a lot of the stuff, but I feel it's all cyclical.
It'll come full circle,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like I'm at a loss because I don't get to theaters very often, so I have a hard time remembering or figuring out or knowing what's theatrical released and what's just a thing on Netflix. And
Yeah.
like, because even like as good as the new Beverly Hills Cop was,
I was just gonna say that.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thought it was well done.
Yeah.
But it looked like it was made for Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that in the theaters. I wanted to see an actual Beverly Hills Cop movie in the theaters.
When you
and
watch
shit.
the original Beverly Hills Cop, it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a gritty,
Right.
R-rated
Yeah.
movie, and it's fucking good.
Original was, I feel it was so much better than the remake they tried to do. I felt like it was just like,
but it's
it's
like
like
really-
so-
it was a sequel, not a
like
remake.
or a sequel, but
Yeah.
it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
you could have.
But what I liked, and like they've always done that with like the opening scene when he starts driving to Beverly Hills, and they like make fun of all the shit. I like how they updated that to there's like the chick having her kid take the selfie and stuff, and like the guy put makeup onto the car. Like they did a really good
But
job.
again,
of
it's
fucking,
like they're
the-
just kind of like recycling the old shit. Like they come out with some new shit like that.
But that's
like,
what they. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Like
I understand what you're
everything
saying.
I feel has had like, oh, it's the new like it's this old movie, but it's like like again they're doing that with Beetlejuice,
That's
like
gonna be great,
I love
though.
that
Beetlejuice
movie.
is fucking
but
That's
like,
a sequel, though. That's not a redo. That's a sequel.
A sequel.
Yeah.
But-
words
so-
right here, God, man.
but still
no,
like
but like
an original concept, original
Yeah.
thought. I feel
And
like
I
it's
worry.
so
I worry
lost.
about even the Beetlejuice thing. I don't worry about it, but like,
You
But
just-
Michael Keaton
like
can
John, are you
fucking
up
save
tonight
any
worrying about
franchise.
that?
I can't sleep, guys. Beetlejuice.
It's on my mind.
Don't say it
again.
again, man. He's gonna come out.
But I just feel like sometimes it's like too little, too late. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't need a second Anchorman movie.
Right.
to America.
Right, right,
Especially
Yeah.
15 years after the first one.
Right.
We could have used that maybe a year later.
Yeah.
But like, it just felt
Yeah,
unnecessary.
like it was
Yeah.
the time wasn't right. Like at the time when that first came out, it was the perfect time for that. It worked.
It worked. It was great. But also, like, some movies don't need sequels. They can
Absolutely.
just be like, there's no Stripes 2.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's no, I mean, there is a Caddyshack 2, but there shouldn't be a Caddyshack 2.
Yeah.
It's like we not everything has to be a franchise of
Yeah.
films. But
Stripes, good callback. That's a great fucking movie.
Oh my God, the movie
I remember
was awesome.
watching that on VHS. Like it was like a dubbed bootleg of a dubbed like on VHS and watching that.
but
was
that's like for
such
me,
a
it was like that
movie.
movie. But then you get like Ghostbusters could have just been a one-off.
Yeah.
You know. What was the
Terminator
Wait, so
2.
you didn't like Ghostbusters
That was
2?
really good though.
I didn't hate it. I'm just saying it could have been a movie that just like Spies Like Us.
Yeah, great fucking movie,
Dude.
And you're entirely right. There's no need for a second one.
We don't need a second Spies Like Us. Now, I'm not
GL40s,
saying
Yeah, that's a fucking.
I would watch Emmett Fitzhume and Austin Milbarge, go on missions for all day. Like that movie and Ghostbusters were both
Three
written
Amigos.
for
There's not
Belushi.
a second one either. But
Right, not a second one. But I think that's more of a we don't want to work with Chevy Chase
For
again
sure.
than it
Well,
is
that's-
anything. Yeah.
reason why I brought it up because I was watching that the other day, and he's got top billing, and I didn't know there's all this inner turmoil behind him having top billing and stuff like that, and then you kind of see like the smugness of him in that, and it's just like Steve Martin, Martin Short, dope ass dudes. Steve Martin's like book, Born Setting Up, great fucking book on how his whole career. He's got like one of the most fucking interesting careers from starting working at like Knott's Berry Farm as a magician.
Dude, a magician dragging a trunk of shit around.
Yeah, and then getting into stand up in San Francisco and stuff, and just like he's just a very down to earth guy. And then you had this fucking because Bill Murray didn't get along with Chevy Chase because of their like butting heads on SNL and stuff. It's just like it's really interesting to see him, and it makes you kind of not like some of his movies after you know how much of a fucking dick he is.
It's hard because I don't like Spies Like Us any less knowing Chevy Chase is a dick. That movie is hilarious. It's like Fletch to me works because he's a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
True.
like and Fletch 2 is good, but we didn't need a Fletch 2. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was good, but Fletch is
Yeah.
hilarious movie, dude. It's
Yeah.
like really well done. I don't know, Chevy Chase, but like Dan Aykroyd wrote Ghostbusters for him and John Belushi.
Yeah.
Bill Murray got that. He wrote Spies Like Us for him and John Belushi.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase. You know what I mean? Like he had written movies that were gonna come after Blues Brothers.
Bill Murray too, man. Though, like he's got like the him and like Harold Ramis getting like a beef after like Groundhog Day, right? And, like, he doesn't.
Bill Murray is an interesting dude.
Yeah, he is, and it's like there was like the tales of Bill Murray on Netflix. Did you watch the documentary about like people having like chance encounters with him, and he's just like he's an interesting
you're
guy.
never gonna believe it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No one's gonna believe you.
exactly. Yeah. So like the part when he's like in the urinal and like goes behind the guy and covers his eyes up, and then he like moves his eyes, and the guy looks back and he's like, "No one will ever believe you if you tell him this."
Yeah.
Right? But like the fact that he took that chick outside the Cubs game to the fucking World Series of the Cubs and showed that didn't have a ticket, you know what I mean? Like that's cool shit. But also like the whole cast of Ghostbusters not knowing whether or not he's going to show up to set the day of filming. It's just like, come on, man. Like like I understand you're like a weird aloof guy, but like also know that you're a professional and you have to do these things, and like you're fucking up a lot of people's anxiety and stuff, and like. But the scene with like when he walks into Dana's apartment, right? Tickles the keys, yeah. That's all improv.
They hate
He's
that.
like, yeah, ghosts hate when you do this shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's just fucking like brilliant
Groundhog
shit.
Day. You can go on and on and on with Bill
Yeah.
Murray. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I think that's who he is. Like I've met him a couple times, and every time he's been that like exactly what I'm like. Oh yeah, that's like how he that's how I expected him to be.
Yeah.
Like just always joking around, always like fucking like doing little digs or like talking
Yeah.
shit or something, but like
He's also a
goofy.
fucking giant dude.
He's a very
like,
tall man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't think I think of him as like a shorter guy, you know, and then
Yeah.
he's like 6'5" or something.
Because Harold
He's, like,
Ramis is
fucking
also
tall.
super tall, and so Dan
Aykroyd is tall. Yeah.
yeah.
Rick Moranis must look like a fucking
Yeah.
For real, yeah.
child on the
Yeah.
set of that movie.
Rick
Yeah.
Moranis, man. Poor dude's wife ruined his career
Well,
by dying of cancer.
I don't know if it ruined his career. I got nothing but respect
Mark's
for
like,
Rick
Jesus. No, yeah.
Way to bring it down.
Yeah. No, he's great though. Like I really wanted him to come back in the new Ghostbusters movie. I don't know, did you see that one?
I have not. I have not seen any of the new Ghostbusters. I got to watch
The
some
last
of them.
two were like decent. The last one was like, I thought like the better of the, two ones. I think you can just leave the whole woman one.
Well, that's
alone
just a
because-
different. That to me is a remake.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a remake. That
Yeah.
doesn't. It's not a sequel.
No.
They're not the daughters of.
No,
It's
exactly.
a remake. So it's a standalone movie. I think it's still gets put in the universe, whatever. But
the fact that Dan Aykroyd's such a big like paranormal guy, right? So all the verbiage that they use in the movies, it's like if you watch that kind of shit, it's spot on. Like he's like, there's like apart from actually having the the technology and stuff like that, like it's pretty much well in that universe and stuff like that. And then going through like how he takes a second mortgage on his parents' house to get the fucking like the firehouse and like buys the fucking Cadillac. I'm a sucker for classic GM cars and stuff, like all that shit. And they do this reboot with this shitty ass fucking Ghostbusters, like Ecto one with the girls and stuff. And I'm like, none of this is like the cool nostalgia that they had, and it has nothing to do with that all female cast thing. Everyone did a good job of what they did with that. movie.
I don't think that's the thing that bothered me at all. It was just the idea that you're just taking a classic movie and then like you're just remaking it, which is fine. I get it, but like also you could have made a movie with that exact cast. And they're also hunting ghosts. Yeah. They could have been completely different and didn't need the name Ghostbusters on it.
Yeah.
But, I am not a marketing guy, and I don't know anything about selling. I can't sell shows I create. So,
speaking of shows, this is the part of the podcast where we ask our guests, where can people see you?
Oh my God,
John.
Well, I'll be in the bushes after this. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just. Plug Scare Tactics on USA Network this fall. It's going to air on USA, and the episodes will be the following week on Peacock. And it's a hidden camera prank show. It's a reimagining, speaking of reboots and remakes.
I love the original one, though.
Yes.
It's a little different.
Okay.
The original one is real raw.
Yeah.
Like, the original one did shit like... Hey man, I think my friend just got shot in the other room and is dead now. Like the original one was
the one that had the guy in the trunk. Do you remember that?
Yes, dude. There was
some shit.
I worked when Scare Tactics was the original Scare Tactics was on. I was working on Punk'd, so I'm producing another hidden camera show that was more popular because it dealt with celebrities and it was on MTV. Scare Tactics, no celebrities, Sci-Fi Network.
Yeah,
but way more raw.
Yeah.
Like I would get told by the legal department on Punk'd, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, great. Kind of tying our hands on this.
Yeah.
Then I would watch an episode of Scare Tactics. Like, they're literally making people think someone fell off a building and died because of what they've done. Like, and I can't do a simple. They're like, I don't know. I was like, okay, wow. But this is
better lawyers.
This is a reimagining. It's Monkey Paw, Jordan Peele.
Okay.
His company's involved, NBC. One of the original creators of the show Scare Tactics, Scott Halleck, is involved. And then the showrunners are great, and it's very funny and weird, and it was probably the most fun I ever had making TV.
Nice.
And so that's what I'll plug, because I don't really have any. No one's coming out to see my stand-up. Even if I was like, I got shows every night next week, people are like, we don't care.
What about Instagram or any social media that you want people to follow? Or like?
I mean, yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on
Still got
TikTok.
The space? Yeah. Is the MySpace out there?
I don't have MySpace. I canceled my MySpace a long time ago, and someone was like, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, what? But now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, why not? Just leave it out there. Who gives a shit? I'm online, JONHUCK. You can find me.
All right.
So when's that air?
Fall, October-ish.
Okay.
Probably September, October. So it seems like it's far away, but also it's going to be 2025 before we blink again. So who knows?
Check John's MySpace for Scare Tactics.
Check my MySpace. Yeah. Check my Friendster for old episodes of the Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
The Friendster reference. Nice. Tony, where can people find you
at? Tony Klein Comedian on Instagram. My website is back up, and on this podcast weekly. Eric, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on this podcast every week at the Eric and Tony Show. You can also go to the ericandtonyshow.com. You can purchase a beer mug, a T-shirt, helps support the show. Every Monday we put the full episode on YouTube, so you can watch it. And then the full audio on Spotify every Monday as well. And then throughout the week on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, we do 60-second clips, little cliff notes of the conversation we had with our guest. This one will be with Jon Huck. And it'll be just a way to kind of get up to date on what we've been talking about. And if you're interested, like and subscribe. And thanks again, John, for coming on the podcast.
Dude,
really enjoy you on here. This was good conversation, man.
Always a hoot.
Don't be thinking about Beetlejuice too much while you're out of
I'll
here.
try to I'll try to get some sleep tonight. I'll try to get some sleep.
And if you guys don't like the podcast, just buy enough of Eric's shirts so we can live in his van permanently.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Dude,
Send him free. Buy the merch.
All right.
Thanks
cool.
again, John.
Thanks, John.
I'm gonna buy a van with the check I get from this podcast.
It's gonna be a small
shitty
van.
van.
Yeah. No wheels.